So these are a set of Weld mountain crushers that my friend Zach dropped off. We're going to polish these and potentially do bronze inserts in all these little spots. Powder coat them to a two-tone. Should look pretty cool. They are a little rough. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna clean these faces up. That's the roughness I'm talking about. And the lips, and just see kind of where they get with no sanding. He said he wasn't super worried about the pitting, but there's a lot of pitting there that I probably could sand out pretty quick. But I'm gonna hit it with the heavy cut and just see what happens. So just a quick little run with the heavy cut got us that. There's some pitting, but he's not too worried about it. We might do another pass or two to see how much shinier it gets, but you can see the reflection of the spokes now, which quite the difference. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, the metal's pretty flat. So I did a quick once around on the lip and this inner lip. I touched the face a little bit, but not much, and there's obviously some compound left and some dull spots that I'll have to get. Around these bolts are kind of tricky. They don't actually come out, so that's annoying, but I'm gonna try to get the face a little more. Looking at like this one, there's a lot of scratching there. It might be closer to like the 400 range, so I might have to do like a 320, 400, 600, 800 here, and then hit it with the buffer again. But really, I don't think this looks that bad. There's a little pitting. These wheels, as you saw, were pretty crusty, but we'll make it work. They turned out really good for what I was expecting. So I got the cut done. I went and hit it with the color wheel. I think it's pretty good, considering he didn't want to sand it. I sent him some pictures, and he's like, yeah, maybe we can sand it. So he's supposed to come up next weekend and help me bang the sanding out on these, but they look pretty good. This kind of stuff I have to go back and do by hand, but really not bad at all, considering they were pretty rough when we started. So Zach started sanding these wheels, got a lot of the curb rash out best we could, and got them pretty flat and sanded most of the scratches out. I started polishing another one, just the heavy cut. Looks decent. I have to buff it still, like with the hand polish, and get all the residue and compound and stuff off, but so far I think we're making really good progress. Definitely not as clear as I was hoping, but I mean, considering we only sanded it with one grit, I think this is fucking sick. So I got back to polishing these. This one I started to do the heavy cut on the lip, but you can see how heavily pitted these wheels are. Pretty much anything that has this black residue on it that isn't built up compound, that's actually eating into the aluminum. So I tried to sand it a little more, but it's too deep for the time and budget constraints we have on this. He's not looking for like absolute perfect mirrors anyway, so I think it's unfortunately going to have to do. This is the worst one, but this one is a little better. It's sanded up to 600 and ready to go, but down in this area where the dirt just naturally collects, you know, it's really not happy. The lips on this one are a lot better than the other two, so that's good. I'm about to powder one, and then we can take a look at that when that's done. So this is the first one. This was the one that you saw us polishing. So we did the windows and all these little spots. Basically anything that was going to be really tough to polish or even maintain is what we did. So I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to hit these with the finishing polish again because there's definitely some scratches, but you can see the pitting and stuff here, unfortunately. And then did the back. Just to get a good uniform finish. So I think they look pretty sick, especially for a solid tone metallic bronze. No candy or anything, so yeah, it should be pretty sick. They'll look really good on the truck. So this is the wheel that had all that pitting. You ignore this pitting down here and stuff, but the lips, much better. This was a cut and a color. I didn't want to get too crazy. You can see the fitting there. I didn't want to go all the way up to the finishing polish until after I put the bronze on. So since I have to wipe the powder and I'm going to be wiping dry powder against the metal, it does leave little like hairline scratches and stuff. So I think it's best to get it colored, make sure it's good. There's nothing else we're going to sand out, and then do the bronze, come back with that purple compound on the white pad. Like I did earlier in the video, and do it all over again, because if looking at the wheel that's done, it definitely induced some scratches, so it'd be better to come back and recolor it after it's all done. So as you can see by the lens flare we're getting off this wheel, I shined this one up real good. Little bit of haze and a little bit of angel hair, but considering these weren't sanded that thoroughly, I think that's pretty sick. You can really see the bronze here. I'm going to take these out in the light tomorrow and hopefully they look sick. The other three are up there. I didn't do the whole barrel. I kind of wanted to, kind of didn't want to. When you do the wipes, you have to hold the wheel, so you end up with fingerprints and stuff. So I think doing half, where the tire sits, and then leaving the space for the seal on the welds and the other tire bead, I think that's good. You can't see it. I know some people get upset about it. On a normal wheel, like this one, I do the whole barrel. But when you have all the fingerprints and stuff in it, I think that looks worse than not doing it at all. But yeah, the welds themselves look pretty sick. This one is done. Those are the other three, obviously. The bronze, I think, is super, super subtle, which is exactly what I would want if they were on my truck. I'm not crazy about the big, like 24s, like 24 by 16 or whatever with like the teal windows and stuff. That's too much for me. The bronze is going on a black truck. It's at Long Bed Bronco on Instagram. It's a square body OBS Ford 7.3 Power Stroke single cab long bed with this weird canvas cap that people always ask me, is that a Bronco? Which where Long Bed Bronco came from. But truck's black. We Cerakoted his exhaust bronze. The bronze itself is subtle. It's a very dark bronze, and it's a little lighter on camera. So I think when they're installed, you'll barely see it, which is what I would like. I'm not crazy. I'm not super flashy. The gold wheels on the Corvette are enough for me. But you can see like that finishing polish really does it. So I don't know if I went over all the products I use. So I buy most of my stuff from Time to Shine. So I use their polishing wheels, and then I use their compound. I have a white flannel Renegade wheel that I bought when I first started. I have their wheel, their safety plates. This is a Makita grinder, or I guess this is actually a buffer, but I started with a smaller Makita grinder. I use the Time to Shine liquid polish. I'm a big fan of what Evan Stager does. He makes great videos on how to polish things. I never got good results until I watched his videos. So that's Evans Detailing and Polishing on YouTube. But yeah, I used that and their purple compound as my final step. Everything else is I use the Time to Shine stuff, and it's sort of the same process as Renegade. It's orange and brown, yellow and green, and then the white flannel and purple. Really gets the job done. I'm just a powder coater that polishes an occasional wheel. They turn out pretty good. I mean, I just did a BMW lip and barrel that looked like that, and now they look like that. Not perfect, could use a little more work. I wanted to see how well they came out without any sanding, so I am not unhappy with that. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully we get some more content coming soon. Catch you guys next time.